Hey guys, it's Heather. Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full face of makeup where every product I use is under $10. So these are all of my favorite items from the drugstore, obviously, or from Target, Ulta, that cost under $10. These are products that I use every day in my routine anyway. And I wanted to share with you all my favorites and how you could get a really nice look with products that cost minimal. So I do purchase some high-end things, but if there is something more affordable that's under $10 that works and performs just as well as something high-end, then why not, right? So here we go. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the Wet n Wild. This is the dewy version of the Photo Focus Foundation. This is like $5, I wanna say, and it's by far the best foundation that you can get, I think, under $10. They also have a regular version if you're not into the dewy thing. So you might not like this. It has a paddle. I mean, I'm fine with it. This smells not as bad as the regular one. There's a definite scent to it. I would say it's like a clean scent. It doesn't bother me at all. So I'm just gonna blend that in. And I'm also using, this is a Real Techniques foundation brush, which is very affordable. I think it's also under $10, and you can get like a set of like 4 brushes for like $19.99 at Target or Ulta. They have really, really good affordable brushes. I'm gonna add in a little bit more coverage. I would say the coverage on this is a medium. It's by no means like full coverage. So if you're looking for full coverage, you might have to add, a little bit on. But I like more full coverage, so I'm just adding another layer. So as you can see, it is it's like a dewy, almost like a tacky. So I'm gonna let this dry a second and then we're gonna move on to concealer. While this is drying, if you have oily skin, you're not gonna like that at all. I would recommend going with the regular version of it. So for a concealer that I would recommend that is under $10, I believe this is $6. This is the e.l.f. concealer. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. They also have the regular. I don't recommend, especially if you have like aging skin, or if you want something that's like more hydrating, that's not gonna turn all crepey. I go with this one. The shade I use is Light Sand. It gives like a really nice like neutral undertone, a little bit brightening, which I really like. And it just doesn't really settle too bad into my fine lines, and it sets really well with powder. So I would highly recommend it. So I'm just gonna blend it in. And another thing that's good about that concealer is that it plays well with like other foundations. So for me, so far, it doesn't matter which foundation that I have used, it has done a really good job pairing with foundations. And then as soon as I put like any setting powder over it, it sets down, minimal creasing. I mean, obviously I'm gonna expect a little bit of fine lines as you get older, you do, but I find that it doesn't set in, nothing crazy. It's very seamless. I would say it's the closest to the Shape Tape that you're gonna find at the drugstore. So I have some dark spots that are peeking through here that are bothering me. So I'm gonna go in with, this is the Maybelline Cover Stick. I think it's like $4 at Target. I've been using this stuff since high school. And I'm just gonna add some coverage on any of the darker spots that I have peeking through. And I like to do this while the foundation is, not super tacky, but not super dry. And it just blends in really, really nicely. So if you have any like dark spots or scarring or, blemishes that you want to hide, this stuff does a really, really, really good job. It is definitely my favorite go-to cover stick out of any price range. So it doesn't even matter that this is just a drugstore, under $10. It's my go-to at any price range. So to set the face today, I was going back and forth on this one because you guys know that I love the NYX Banana Powder, but I like that more for just under the eyes, although it can set your whole face really nice. I do like the Fit Me. This is the Set and Smooth. They also have the loose powder, but if I'm gonna set everything, I'm gonna use this because this does a really nice job under the eyes and it doesn't oxidize. So it's not like, sometimes I feel like with the loose powder, you put it under your eyes, it can get darkening and you can have a chance of getting that crepey look. So I like to use this one. I always go with a lighter shade. This is a Set and Smooth and I'm using the shade Classic Ivory. They also have a translucent, I think, that you could play around with too. So I'm just gonna get some of that, and I always use 2 different brushes. I'm gonna use this little e.l.f. setting brush for under the eyes. And then I'm gonna do it a little bit around the mouth. And then I go in with a larger fluff brush and just pat that everywhere else. And today I'm filming this video from my iPhone because my battery there's something funky going on with it. So I'm hoping that this works. It's weird because like the camera is on this side of the phone. So I'm trying to have to remember to look into the camera, but I'm used to looking straight in the center, if that makes sense, but just bear with me. For bronzer, a really good drugstore bronzer is the Milani. This is a really good bronzer under $10. This is the Milani Baked Bronzer. I'm using the shade Dolce. This is the shade that I use more so in the winter. It's the most versatile that I can use all year round. So I'm gonna go in with a larger kabuki brush because I wanna do like a little bit of contouring first. And this does it super easy with powder. So I'm just gonna hit it right at the top, like, so here's like the hollow of my cheek. I'm gonna hit it like right there, just to really accentuate the cheekbones. Do the same thing on the other end. And if you're new to like powder contouring, or you just wanna get more of like a chiseled look, but every time you use like, say like one of these brushes for a bronzer, it's getting everywhere. Get yourself a jumbo kabuki brush like this, one of the jumbo fan kabuki brushes, and it just gives you a more precise application. And then I'm just gonna get right under the chin. Now I'm gonna go in with, this is the Real Techniques. I believe it's actually the blush brush, but I'm gonna use it to further just bronze up the skin and just dust the bronzer everywhere. So this is more of like a messier application, not so super precise like we did last time, and I'm just gonna dust it over the bridge of my nose and just make sure everything is nice and blended down my neck. So for blush, I have a couple of favorites that would tie for the top spot under $10 right now. So I have the e.l.f. blush palette, and there are two shades, well really three, but two shades that I'm in love with from this palette, and it's this shade right here and this shade right here. The top shade right here kind of resembles like the NARS Orgasm, but I've been loving mixing like this right here and then topping it with a little bit of pink. So I think that we're gonna do this one today, but I also love this NYX Sweet Cheeks. And I especially like this shade Almost Famous. It is like a bright orange coral. You just need literally like a dot and it's like pop. Like it's very flattering, really, really nice color. But I think that we're gonna go in with this because I'm doing a more neutral colored eye. So I think that this will work the best. I'm gonna take the blush brush. This is the Insta Pop Cheek Brush, also from Real Techniques, very affordable line of blushes. And I'm gonna get this shade right here. And I'm gonna start dusting that onto like the middle of my, like right where you smile right here. And then I'm gonna kind of take it back so it blends into the bronzer. And I like to stipple, especially with this brush, because then you start, you know, more subtle and then you can build. So I'm gonna add now a little just pinch of pink to it. So I like this shade, and I actually like dug my nail in it. And I'm just dusting that. I also like to put a little bit of blush like into my bronzer, into my temple where I put the bronzer. For highlight, so there's two that I would pick under $10 every single time. One would be the Master Chrome. This is Maybelline, and this is the shade Molten Gold. And my other one would be Flower Crown by Wet n Wild. I don't know if I have that one or if it broke. I think I have the lighter pink shade, but it is really, really, really good if you're looking for more of like a gold champagne colored bronzer. So I'm gonna take this, again, is by Real Techniques, and this is actually the setting brush, and just dab it on. And I'm gonna highlight. So this is right around $10. I think it actually might be like $9.99, but, and then the other one is a little bit less than that. I forgot one thing, another highlight under $10. This is a cream highlight, if this is your thing. This is Colourpop. They have a few different shades, but the one I like a lot is in the shade Wisp, and I know you guys have seen me talk about this like a million times, but It is really pretty to just dab on. Like I'll just like add a little bit. And it just gives it like a very cream, like wet looking. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it looks really, really natural and pretty. And if you have not tried these, definitely check them out. It's more of like a wet looking highlight than anything. So really pretty. Normally when I use this highlight, I'll put it first, like as a first highlight, and then I'll go in with a powder highlight over it. And it really just pops. And I like how it almost blends together, and this kind of like tones down that powdery, like if there's any powder in it, so it doesn't look like, you know, sometimes when you see highlight and it doesn't look very blended, it just like looks like powder on the skin. I think that the cream ones do a nice job of like making it look like it's, you know, a glow from within, if that makes sense. All right, so to get my brows in check, I like the Covergirl. This is the shade Soft Brown. It is like around $7. I stopped using the Anastasia Brow Wiz because it's more expensive, and I found that the Covergirl one works just as well. So why not save a couple bucks, right? And I've been loving this e.l.f. Wow Brow. It is a brow gel. It's very similar to the Benefit one, and it's $4. So I tried it, it worked really nice, and I just haven't looked back. So another brow pencil that's good, that's under $10 would be the LA Girl one. That one is very good as well. I just find that the formula on that is a little bit drier. So you have to kind of push more to get what you need. Like it's not as waxy. See, I just drew too much. It's not as waxy as this one, where I feel like this one, you don't have to push very hard to get product. And it's almost like a brow pomade and a pencil in one because it is very waxy. And I'm in the middle of like kind of growing out my eyebrows. Like I think I want them to be a little bit more, I don't want to say like fuller, but just more like feathery. I don't know, grow them in for the winter. I feel like they're looking a little weird. And over on my Instagram, I've been using the IGTV like once a week to post mini makeup tutorials. I've been having fun doing that. So if you don't follow me over there and you're interested, I'm over there at OrganizationBeautyNation. Last week I did a Carmen Electra one, and the one that's going up tonight for, well, when you're gonna be watching this, it will already be up, is a Selena Gomez inspired look that she did at the AMAs in 2019. It was like really pretty. Obviously I know I look nothing like these people, but I just, if I see like a pretty makeup look, I like to try to, you know, have some fun and recreate it on myself. Now I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. brow gel. See, like I'm trying to get the more feathery brow look, and this definitely helps with that. Or if you have like sparse areas, it definitely helps, like grabs onto any hair, and I think it has like the fibers in it, so it just elongates everything and makes it look thick. So for eyeshadow, there are a lot of good products under $10. So my favorite mini palettes are, I feel like obviously the little e.l.f. bite-sized ones. And I think that I'm going to do the pumpkin pie one just because I've been using this quite a bit and it doesn't really match my outfit. So we're gonna go with the pumpkin one. And then another one of my favorites, this is by far my favorite glitter that you can find for under $10. This is the e.l.f. This one is in the shade Copper Pop. I have a couple of the other shades. I have like the 24 karat gold one, and then I have another, like, I think it's like a black, and I have a rose gold one. Really pretty, and they remind me of the Stila ones. If you haven't tried them, definitely check it out. So I think that I'm gonna do the pumpkin pie and then go over the lid and just glam it up a little bit with that. I'm gonna start with all over, like everywhere, and just blowing everything out, bringing it up with this lighter shade. And in case you're curious, this is the Morphe E27. And it's just a really nice, like super, super fluffy, blendable, like just so good at blending and fluffing everything out. I've been liking like kind of dusting to kind of give it like a lift. So I'm just building that up, getting a good base, and then same thing on the other side. Okay, so to make it a little bit more dramatic, I'm gonna go in with this matte shade right here. I'm gonna focus that on the crease area and just kind of right underneath it. So it's like kind of fades from shade to shade. And so I just start by a little bit and then blending. And I'm bringing that like in, you know, into the inner area of my eye as well. So I'm just trying to buff that out as best as I can. Just doing like little flicks at the end. Same thing on the other side. So I am gonna go in with, I wanna use both of these, so I'm just gonna mix both of them. I'm just putting it on my finger here and just tapping it on the lid. So that's how we're looking so far. It's a little bit patchy in here, so I'm gonna have to go back in and blend a little bit. But I mean, for $3, it's really good. So as long as you just have a little patience and you blend, and then using this shade too, like just helps to kind of blend everything in from the lid and up. Just gonna wipe that off, and I'm gonna go back in with that second brush. I'm not adding anything, I'm just making sure it's blended. So the only thing that they don't have in these, but you know, in these little ones, but they do have other palettes that have a better, like a lighter shade for the brow bone. So I'm gonna have to use something to, I like to use a brow bone shade. So I'm just gonna put a little something on 1 second. One of my favorite brow bone shades is this Tempera one. This is in the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, and I think it's in quite a few of their palettes actually. I feel like I gotta put something down. And I just kind of shade it, and then I feel like it just fades. Everything fades together much better. So I'm also gonna use this on the lower lash line, and I'm just gonna use this shade right on the end. More of a small shader brush. Just gives it a little bit of drama. Okay, so moving on, for eyeliner, I like the Kohl liners by Rimmel. This is the, what is it called? The Scandalize. And I like just normally use the black one. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Master Chrome and pop it into my inner corners as a highlight. And also this Colourpop one, really good at that. I like the shade Flexitarian specifically for that. Moving on to the lips. I'm gonna do the lips and then I'm gonna come back to the eyes. I like to kind of mix it up. So I love the Milani, the Most Natural. It is the prettiest, like just neutral brown shade. It glides on so smooth. It's so easy to line your lips. And I think they have like one other color. I wish they would come out with more colors because it is just so pretty and it's so easy to line with. Next up, we're gonna do the Maybelline lipstick. This is the matte one, and this is Beige Babe. I love their lipsticks. I think they're so good. I like I think it's like the satin or the cream, like the matte cream ones. I like those ones the best, but this is really good, especially if you put a gloss on top of it. Like, so as you can see, it's definitely matte. It's a really, really good, I'll swatch it for you. Really good nude lipstick, but I love all of their lipsticks. Best lipsticks, I think, under $10. To go over that, I'm using the Vivid Hot Lacquer. This is a Maybelline lip gloss. What I love about, it's actually a lip lacquer. What I love about this is that it is a gloss, but it is also very opaque. So it's not just like a gloss you're gonna pop on, it's gonna be gone in 2 seconds. This actually gives like a really nice pigment and color payoff. I also love, love, love the L'Oreal lip paint ones. They're really good. I like the Revlon lip lip lacquer lip paints. I've talked about those a bunch. They're really good. Okay, back to the eyes. I forgot to do the glitter. So we're gonna put a little bit of glitter on top. So I feel like it is pretty glowy, but why not add a little bit more? Just adds a little bit more of like a wet glitter look. And I'm just focusing that on the inner half of my eyelid, I think, yeah. So that has to dry. So I'm gonna do my hair really quick because if I try to do like an eyelash curler, it's gonna get a mess because this is still wet. So I did a haul, probably, what, like a couple days ago, or maybe like a week ago now. I have to edit it and put it up. I'll probably do it the following week from when you're seeing this one. I got a few new things, and one of the things that I got that I'm really excited about that I've been using and I've been loving is a waver. I went with the Bedhead brand one. My sister's a hairdresser. There was another brand that she recommended. It was a little bit pricier, but I just wanted to just try it, see if I even like it. So I went with this one. It was only like, it was under $30. It was like $27, I want to say. And so far, so good. So I need a haircut really bad. But what I did do is I braided my hair last night, so it just kind of air dried. So this is what I've been doing. And then I just kind of part it. So then I only have to really do like the top couple of sections, and I can kind of pull off not having to do my whole head if I braid it. So that's just what I've been doing and I've been liking. So this is what it looks like. Pretty simple. Has a lock button, an on and an off button, and then it just goes high and low. I really wish that I kept my one from like high school, but I don't know where that thing went. It's like 20 years ago. So I just take like probably like a 2-inch section of hair, and I would use like a heat protectant, definitely. And I just kind of wedge it in there, crimp it, hold it for a few seconds, let it out, and go down. And I'm just going to fast forward over this part of me doing the waver on my hair. I'm going to do a haul video where I'll do like a full review probably in the next couple weeks. So I did about as much as I feel like doing right now. Another thing is you're gonna get these little flyaways, or at least I do. I think it's because from having a baby, I like lost a bunch of hair and now it's starting to grow back. So what I like to do is just take a little toothbrush and my favorite hairspray, which is the Bedhead hairspray, and just gonna kind of spray on where I see any loose pieces, and I just brush it down. Or you can spray directly onto the brush. I like to do that too. And there's just some like flyaways that I like to just kind of brush down and tame. And I like doing this to keep like my ponytails and everything sleek too. Okay, so for mascara, first I'm gonna curl my lashes. There are so many good drugstore mascaras. I've done pretty much a whole video on them. I'll put it up above in the eye if you wanna check it out. So it's gonna be very difficult for me to choose just one. I feel like I'm always using the Lash Paradise, so I wanna use something else, but for drugstore mascaras, or for mascaras under $10, these are the ones that I really like. There's a couple other ones that are missing. So the Telescopic, the Essence Lash Paradise, or Lash Princess, which I think I'm gonna use today because it's kind of like an all-in-one. It does a really good job at volumizing and adding thickness, also curling and lengthening. The Colossal, I have liked this one for a really long time. I'm almost out of it though. The NYX Worth the Hype is really good. I feel like these two are very similar. And then, of course, my favorite would be the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. So since I'm always using this one, I'm just gonna go with the Lash Princess. Essence makes really, really good mascaras, but I'm gonna use the Lash Paradise Primer first. And Essence is super affordable. Everything is very inexpensive. And I'm only putting primer on my top lashes. If I put it on the bottom ones will get too bulky. I'll get like black like chunks. I'm just asking for trouble if I try to thicken up my bottom ones. I'm gonna go over that now with the Lash Princess. This is the False Lash Effect mascara. I know they have a few different options to choose from. And I'm gonna do like 2 coats of each. Actually running pretty low on this, so I need to buy a new one. If you're anything like me, you have like 10 mascaras opened at one time, which I'm definitely guilty of. To finish it up, my favorite setting spray, which is under $10, is the Milani Make It Last. This is the travel size, but the full size one is $9.99, I think, so it's under $10, and it's amazing. And I love that they offer it in a little travel size. All right, so that's everything for what I have that's under $10, so you can get a full face of really, really good products. There's a lot to choose from that's good. So I hope you guys like this video. I will link my beauty playlist with some of my more popular videos if you wanted to check them out. I'll also put them down below. If you're new here, please subscribe, say hi down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.